Sometimes bad things are made with good intentions. This is one of them.
South America! Australia! France!
What we have here is David Bowie and Mick Jagger, two of the most recognizable and celebrated rock musicians together and dancing about in a music video.
Dancing in the street.
To the tune of Dancing in the Street, no less. By and large, this should have been a great moment in time to see two juggernauts in rock making music together. These days, it's the music video that gets talked about more and just remembered decades after its release in 1985. Negatively, of course. In fact, this might be one of the most hated music videos of the 1980s, which is really funny finding out that this video gives off such a negative response. Not to mention, learning this song and music video was done for the sake of charity. I've been meaning to talk about a bad music video for a while, and this definitely has that reputation. But should it have this legacy? I'll be going over the history behind this song and its music video as we try to figure out whether or not the hate is justified. So get your dancing shoes ready because it is once again music video time, and we are talking about the music video to David Bowie and Mick Jagger's Dancing in the Street.
Great while an event of such significance comes along that not to remember it would be unthinkable. Live Aid was that event.
So the origins to these two British rockers making this song starts with Live Aid. In 1985, Bob Geldof and Midge Ure came up with a one-day benefit concert for the famine in Ethiopia. Called Live Aid, it had two venues of performances, one in London and one in Philadelphia. This concert was a big deal when it happened, with so many famous musicians performing for this.
Her Majesty, Queen!
As well as a lot of historical moments in music, such as Queen's performance. And Led Zeppelin's disastrous set that the band legally blocks because of how terrible it is.
Did you feel something?
I don't know. I mean, it ain't time to think about it, really. We just said we'd do it. This is the right reason to do what we did.
But it is Live Aid where our music video also makes its debut in the world, which is honestly odd when you think about it. You're there to see your favorite artist performing live for a good cause. Why show a music video during it? You could just have it be seen on MTV. Well, the reason for this decision is because of a compromise. At the assistance of Bob Geldof, he wanted David Bowie and Mick Jagger do a cover of Dancing in the Street, which was originally performed by Martha and the Vandellas at the event. Now, this is a pretty popular song to cover. Like, there's one by the Kinks, by the Mamas and the Papas, the Grateful Dead. I usually hear Van Halen's cover on the radio when I put on classic rock. It's generally a safe bet of a song to cover, but the catch would be that they wouldn't be performing it together, per se. During Live Aid, Bowie performed at London while Jagger's set was in the JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. The initial plan for the song was for them to do a sort of link-up to get them to perform the song together, while in different continents. And as ambitious of an idea it was, there was a fatal flaw with this as there was a significant delay in the video feed, so there wouldn't be a proper way to perform this without being out of sync. Not even lip-syncing would have worked, so it led to the plan of just making a music video with these two performing the song. Now, I love David Bowie's work, and I have enjoyed a couple of Rolling Stones songs. Never actually taken time to listen to Mick Jagger's solo works, but the idea of having these two singing together sounds great. And singing a pre-established song like Dancing in the Street makes it easier for them to make, as they were weeks away from Live Aid. You don't need to make a new song in such a short notice, but they do end up making a new arrangement and adding lyrics to have it have a more global message. And so on June 29th, 1985, Bowie and Jagger recorded the song at Abbey Road Studios. With them were Steve Naive, who played keyboard for Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and drummer Neil Conti of Prefab Sprout.
Do you hear what I hear? Do you see what I see?
They were with Bowie to record songs for the 1986 film Absolute Beginners, which Bowie also starred in. This is the third time I brought up that movie on Music Video Time. I should probably get around to watching it. This session ended up being a quick turnabout as it took 4 hours to make the song. Not only that, but as Mick Jagger said in an interview with Rolling Stone in 2007, we banged it out in just 2 takes. Elaborating on this session in 2014, Neil Conti said this song could have been done in 1 take, but there was a snag with his snare even. It was the first first take, we were already halfway through, and by golly, we were nailing it. Life felt pretty good at that moment. Then, as it so happens, something had to go wrong and bring me crashing back down to reality. Sod's bloody law, etc. The snare chord broke. My gorgeous, crispy, snappy 1957 Ludwig 400 suddenly sounded like a dull, cheap timbre. I stopped, leant down towards the snare mic and said, "Sorry everyone, snare's gone, take 5. I didn't show it, but I felt like climbing into a dark hole at that moment. I said, Jesus, I've had snare chords go on me about once a year at the most. Why now? And yes, it got fixed, and yes, okay, we did get it on the second take. We had to, but I would dearly love to have heard how that first take would have sounded. I mean, think about it again. Bowie? Jagger? History? One take? Wow. After the recording session wrapped, they immediately went to the Millennium Mills at the London Docklands to shoot the music video. Yeah, not only did they do 2 takes on the song, but the same night, they shot the music video. And the director for the music video would be David Mallet. Mallet had a bunch of music videos at this point in his career, especially ones for David Bowie. Most notably, Mallet directed Bowie's Ashes to Ashes, which at one point was the most expensive music video made. Here, meanwhile, they had to have had the stringiest of shoestrings to make this. I don't know the exact amount the budget had, but what I do know is there wasn't any money being put into the choreography. I think the only thing Mallet told the two in terms of direction was to just dance. I mean, the song is called Dancing in the Street. What else would you do? Personally, I wouldn't dance like this. From what I understand, making both the song and music video took 13 hours to complete, which is totally wild how quickly this was made, but they were on a time crunch, so it makes sense. 14 days after making the song and music video, Live Aid was up and running, and with so many acts performing throughout, what I find funny is that not only does this music video premiere during one of the biggest moments in music, but it premiered after Queen's set. Like, you mean to tell me that this music video was riding the coattails of one of the most famous live performances of all time? It's bananas. Anyways, it was Chevy Chase who was the one who introduced the audience and the world of this moment.
2 of the greatest singers of all time, for the first time ever, are going to sing on videotape one of the great classics, Dancing in the Streets. Mick Jagger and David Bowie. What's the scream?
And once it aired, well, I can't say people didn't dislike this video when it premiered.
Suddenly, there's 2 up-and-coming young pop stars, David Bowie and Mick Jagger, in the video Dancing in the Street, which they made specially for this event.
Now, when it came to the song, while it was shown during Live Aid, which was on July 13th, it was released as a single by EMI in August, and this song was a success on the charts. It was a #1 single in multiple countries, including the United Kingdom, as it debuted at #1 for the week of September 7th, 1985. In fact, its first 4 weeks on the charts, it was at #1, and it would be on the charts for 15 weeks. In the United States, it made its debut for the week of August 31st at number 47. It would hit its peak after 7 weeks at number 7 on the charts of October 19th, and it would stay on the Hot 100 for 14 weeks. Bear in mind, Bowie and Jagger did not get a penny off of this, as all proceeds would go to Live Aid, which was very successful for the charity. And with the success of the song in the UK, that meant Dancing in the Street would be shown on Top of the Pops. Specifically, it's the music video that was shown at Top of the Pops.
Welcome for Mr. Bowie and Mr. Jagger.
Bowie and Jagger never performed the song together except for one time at the Prince's Trust concert on June 20th, 1986. In 1985, the music video was shown on the program 6 times. Its first appearance on the September 5th episode, and then was shown in the subsequent September installments. It also played during the Christmas Day episode that year, and played one more time on Top of the Pops' review of the 80s in 1989. For MTV, it debuted at heavy rotation for the week of August 14th, and Billboard's last recording of the video was for the week of October 12th after 8 weeks. Remaining at heavy rotation. Not only was it shown on television, but it was also shown on the silver screen. Sponsored by Kodak and distributed by Movie Motions, a company that would put music videos in the theaters, this was shown as a music zap, and they would show the music video in 5,000 movie theaters. And just like the song, the proceeds also went to charity. Which is great to see that this video was being used for good, but I feel like the constant exposure for this video may have given Dancing in the Street such a negative reputation. Which is bizarre. I mean, it's a video where Mick Jagger and David Bowie are dancing. In the street, no less. Well, they do dance more than just in the street, but that's the video. You would not expect how hated this video would be, because this video ends up on a couple of worst of lists for music videos. On the NME's list of the 50 worst music videos, Dancing in the Street is ranked number 12 on that list. The Guardian, meanwhile, had a reader's poll on the 10 worst, and this video actually got the dubious honor of being number 1. Considering it outranks some of the most notorious music videos ever made, including Billy Squier's Rock Me Tonight, Journey's Separate Ways Worlds Apart, and even James Blunt's You're Beautiful, you would think that Bowie and Jagger did something egregious throughout this video. Then again, after the video premiered at Live Aid, it was time for David Bowie's set.
Lest we forget while we're here, I'd like to introduce a video made by CBC Television. The subject speaks for itself.
Apparently the set was supposed to have him perform his song 5 Years, but instead it was cut so he could show a video from the CBC of starving Ethiopian children set to the Cars' Drive. That had to have given some people a tonal whiplash, seeing that being played during this global jukebox event. But the donations did increase after this moment, so it was effective. But what really sets the legacy of this music video in stone would be in 2011 during an episode of Family Guy. During the 17th episode of Season 9, Foreign Affairs, Peter is homeschooling his children, Meg and Chris, and tells them that he will be teaching them the most important moments in history, which includes what I believe to be one of the most infamous cutaways in the show.
1985 brought us the gayest music video of all time.
I remember seeing this episode when it premiered on Fox, and this was my first exposure to this music video. And let me tell you, I was expecting them to show some of it, and then just cut back to Peter or something. But no, they ended up showing the entire video. All 3 minutes of this video and song. And the punchline to it,
That happened, and we all let it happen.
wasn't even that funny. The AV Club's review of this episode has an entire paragraph dedicated to this moment, and I just gotta read it in its entirety. This would be typical Family Guy, except they proceed to show the video itself. Not like an animated version of the video, just the music video itself. For 3 minutes. There's Family Guy anti-humor, and there's reference humor, and then there's this bizarre Frankenstein's monster-esque convergence of the two. What does it mean? Why did it happen? Did Family Guy's writers only now just discover YouTube? Is this the height of laziness, or do you think they're actually going to explain this as some bizarre kind of meta joke that you're just not meta or jokey enough to understand? This episode as a whole was so trifling that it's difficult to separate it out from the massive video in the center. They gave the episode a D+, by the way. This bizarre moment by itself may be one of the laziest ways to save 3 minutes of animation, but really, how on earth did they get away with showing the entire video? I even went on Hulu to watch the episode to see if it was still intact. And yeah, 14 years later, it's still in the episode. So they did something that caused them to keep the rights to this music video for this episode. Now, there's no commentary track available for this episode, and I could not find any explanation for this moment beyond the idea of they were capable of doing this. If I had to guess, since this song was meant for charity, maybe some money went to Live Aid to secure the rights in perpetuity. But honestly, Peter Griffin's setup to this does seem to give a hint as to why this music video might be hated. Now, if you're unaware of this, there have been rumors for decades about whether or not Bowie and Jagger had a relationship. Bowie has been well known for being bisexual, while Jagger is a sexuality of his own. And there is a pretty well-known story about Bowie's ex, Angie, catching the two in bed naked together. Could the disdain of this video come from some level of homophobia? Wouldn't be the first time if we're talking about precedent for music videos, but while reading Far Out Magazine's piece on the relationship between these two singers, the article makes the claim that this video parodied their obsession with each other, which is an interesting thought. Was this music video taking the piss out of these claims? Is there subtext to this video? Or is it just maybe a video about two friends goofing off? Like, let's be honest here, it's a video that was shot within a day's time. There's no way any real thought went into making it, and admittedly, I understand the dislike for the video. You're really spending 3 minutes watching people dance horribly. Not to mention, there wasn't really a care in the world for how their attire just seems to most randomly be put together. They probably woke up and dressed like that for the day. I can't help but come to the conclusion that this is a bad video, but could it also be at the level of so bad it's good? In some ways, it reminds me of how incredibly terrible Journey's Separate Ways Worlds Apart is. Someday, love will find you. This is legitimately one of the worst music videos ever made, but it is awesome how bad it is. Every idea they had just did not work, and I think it's a wonderful watch regardless. So, can't Dancing in the Street have the same sentiment?
Don't forget the Motor City.
If anything, this video is ripe to be made fun of, which is exactly what happened over the years. And I'm not just talking about Family Guys' laziness. Not once but twice on YouTube, there was a video where the music video is muted and you just hear silly sound effects over it. Like how it would have been when shooting the video. They are genuinely funny. Even Bowie was aware of one of these videos, as Ben Monder, who was the guitarist off Bowie's final album Black Star, who told The Observer in 2016 he thought that was hilarious and would just have us watch the whole thing. I'm not entirely sure how Jagger thought, but I would assume Mick had a kick out of it too. So, is this one of the worst music videos ever made? It's certainly not one of the best, I can tell you that for free. But I can't really be hard on it. It's an absolute cheese fest of a music video seeing two of the greatest singers of all time improvising dance moves all in a few hours. Not to mention, this was intended for a charity. Granted, where the funds for Live Aid went is still under scrutiny 40 years later, but that's a discussion for another time. This music video is harmless at worst if you ask me. Besides, I think the song is enjoyable. Isn't it all that matters? And we end up having a music video that ends with a shot of two asses at the end. Thanks for your time.
Call 800-LIVE-AID now, 24 hours a day. Donate what you can to help fight hunger. Live Aid. Remember why we did it? Help keep it alive.